OfficialLarkenRose here, and as promised, this is my follow-up video to the misnamed Libertarian Party inviting the Orange Fuhrer to speak at their joke of a clown convention. I'm not at all biased, though. I'm totally in support of this move. So, I want you to picture this, because I hear a bunch of people, a bunch of libertarians trying to make excuses for it. Well, it's going to get us more attention. Okay, for what? So they can learn about libertarianism. It's not going to do that. Well, so they can blah, blah. It's to serve the party. It's to make the party more relevant. It doesn't have a fucking thing to do with principles. It never did. It never does. Now, if you don't agree with that, now I haven't seen this yet, nor do I need to have seen it to know exactly what's going to happen. I want you to picture three people. I also heard some libertarians say that now we can, like, have him speak and then we can have our rebuttal. You think Trump's going to allow that? You think Trump's going to let you question him? Well, after the fact, when nobody's watching, you mean? You can say the things you didn't like about it? Well, gee whiz, you could have said the things you don't like about him without inviting him to your stinking convention just to get attention, just to try to be relevant, and in the process, throw principles out the frickin' window like you just did. So, pretending for a moment there's the slightest prayer in hell that the libertarians' argument holds any water, that this will somehow bring people to libertarian principles or want to know more about it. I want you to picture three people. We're going to do this in pieces. I may have to cut this into multiple videos. I think he babbled for like 40 minutes. I want you to picture three people watching this. Now, if somebody's all the way a voluntarist, there's nothing they can get out of this except watching a statist talk to a bunch of people who pretend to be libertarians. Okay, that's useless. I want you to consider three people. The first is your generic Trump supporter watching him speak to the Libertarian Convention. Are they going to be curious about libertarianism? Are they going to learn about the principles of libertarianism? Are they going to get a philosophical back and forth that gives them a good way to... So, first one is Trump supporter. Second person I want you to picture is someone kind of leaning towards libertarianism, kind of curious of what it's about. They're not a Trump supporter, they're not a Democrat. They've heard about this party and they want to know more. So that's person number two. And then person number three is just random spectator, not politically involved, not informed, not paying attention, but maybe had nothing better to do than watch this stinking video. What do they get out of it? And along the way we'll consider, did this do any stinking good for the message? We're getting the message to a larger audience. Okay, what message? Let's find out, shall we? All right, like I said, I have not seen this yet. I just downloaded it. It only happened like a couple hours ago or something. So let's watch it together, shall we? Like I said, he babbled for 40 minutes, but I'm going to probably break this into 2 or 3 videos. Strap in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Angela McArdle, chair of the Libertarian National Convention.
Listen to this. Loud.
What a beautiful crowd. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. You know, I also invited Joe Biden, and he did not attend.
Did you invite, like, Jeffrey Dahmer or maybe some other war criminals or psychopaths? Or was it just those two?
We have an incredible opportunity tonight, and I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, goody. An opportunity to do what? Let's find out.
Never in the history of the Libertarian Party has a former president and front-runner candidate for the presidency come to speak specifically to our concerns.
He's not there to speak to your concerns. Holy shit. Do you actually think he showed up to address your concerns? You're either lying or an idiot. He went there to do what the only thing he ever does anywhere, which is promote Donald Trump. He doesn't give a fuck about your concerns. So whether she's utterly delusional or lying her ass off and she knows it, not sure. Don't know her well enough to say. And notice the whole emphasis is, look how important we are. We got a former president to speak here. Okay, let's see what you accomplish with that. You have lots of eyes on you. Now's your chance.
Thank you all for making history with us. I want to continue this trend. So let's work towards that. I really appreciate you all. And without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Okay, first of all, welcome him. Not, we're going to bring him in and make him answer for his war crimes. Welcome him. Now you hear the crowd, some of them going yay, some of them going boo. Remember those 3 spectators? The Donald Trump supporters are always like, already like, well, these assholes, they're booing our savior. How dare they? You think they're being won over to libertarianism? They have no idea what it is. All they know is that half the crowd is booing it. The people curious about libertarianism are like, some of them are cheering, some of them are booing. Do they even know what they think? And then you get the random spectator going, what the hell is this? They're going yay and booing. Is he like them? Is he one of them? What the hell is this? She welcomed him and then half the crowd booed him and half the crowd cheered. What the hell? Obviously, so far, not the slightest shred of a hint of any principle, including from the person running the party. So you have, if you can't see it, you have MAGA equals socialist, which is absolutely true.
All right, now I have they're playing Proud to be an American, the song, so I have to wait until they stop playing the song, okay?
Oh, that's funny, because the copyright things. But they have a bunch of free Ross signs.
So I can't.
You're waving a bunch of free Ross signs in front of somebody who isn't the president. You can't free anybody, and when he was, he didn't.
Yeah, I got to be careful with the music, okay? So as soon as the song starts playing, as soon as the song stops, I will put him on.
This.
But I
thought you said you can see a whole bunch of free Ross signs waved in front of somebody who can't do that, and when he could do that, didn't do that. Not only that, but he talked about, those traitors who leaked information about our military. You know what we used to do to traitors, right? He's talking about murdering the people, and you're there begging him, free the people who were prisoners of the state that you oversaw and didn't free when you were there. Just,
hardly hear the audience right next to the music. All right. In any moment, the song will stop and we'll go live to Trump.
Sorry, like I said, I haven't seen this before, so hopefully this doesn't take very long. Yeah, he's looking at the crowd, getting booed, getting yayed, nothing. Basically, people yelling for and against a team.
So as soon as the song ends,
no shred of a principle in any direction yet.
Again, this is the
but don't worry, I'm sure he's going to address their concerns.
The Libertarian Party invitation to speak.
They've got significance and relevance, and they only had to sell their friggin' souls and throw their principles out the stinking window to get it. Alrighty.
Let's see. Yeah, they're still playing the music. He's standing there.
Good grief! How much of this?
Pretty raucous crowd.
Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. Skipping to this. Yays and boos. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the yays or the boos?
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Angela, for that introduction. And I am truly honored to be invited here tonight as the first president in American history to address the Libertarian National Convention.
Okay, schmoozing and ass-kissing. So now the 3 spectators are going to think, okay, are they sort of on the same side? Even though half the crowd just booed him. Is he one of them? Now, if somebody's curious about libertarianism and thinking he's honored to have been invited, is libertarianism just Trump?
A lot of people ask why I came to speak at this Libertarian convention, and you know, it's an interesting question, isn't it? But we're gonna have a lot of fun. Well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things, so if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now.
There's a great message. To be libertarian is to get indicted for exposing classified documents. What does that mean? Okay, never mind. I mean, he doesn't freaking know. To think that this guy is going to say anything like something philosophical or a principle, he never has. Why the hell would he start now? But that's him schmoozing and kissing ass. Well, now I'm one of you because of what I went through. Not how libertarianism works. But the Trump supporters are going to think, oh, okay, is that what it means to be libertarian? To get indicted 97 times or something?
And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with me. I don't do that. I want to thank some...
You literally advocated killing people for being traitors for saying things that the U.S. government didn't want said. Also, lock her up. But whatever.
Really outstanding, and they are great libertarians and great people. Ambassador Rick Grinnell, Senator Mike Lee, Cash Patel, and...
Name dropping to kiss ass, nothing having to do with the principle. Like, it's a sellout. Say my name, Mr. Former War Criminal.
Candidate who's going to win from Virginia, Hung Cow. I also want to pay our deepest respects to the two young missionaries from Missouri, Davy and Natalie Lloyd, that were viciously killed yesterday in Haiti. It was a horrible thing, and I just want to pay our respects to their families, their great families.
Be a warmonger and pretend to be so concerned about innocent people dying.
Incredible people, and it's a very, very sad moment. What happened was so horrible. So, to Davey and Natalie, please, thank you very much.
By the way, that's a good tactical way to shut the audience up so they stop booing. And that's all it was. He doesn't give a fuck about those people.
I'd also like to express my gratitude to all the fierce champions of freedom in this room. You are champions of freedom. You are indeed. And I'm here to talk to you about the rise of left-wing fascism in the country and to need to defeat the corrupt and incompetent tyrant in the White House, crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States.
So, immediately, it's kiss their ass, you're freedom fighters. As if he is. And by the way, as if any of them are. Well, some people in the room may be. They may actually think this was a good idea. They may think being involved in the party is doing the slightest bit of good. It's not. If this doesn't demonstrate that... So now he's making it be between, you should put me on the third. You should vote for Mr. Jones, not Mr. Johnson. He's crooked, but Mr. Jones, and I guarantee that what's coming up is, don't vote for Noah, because that'll just make it more likely for Mr. Johnson to win. Vote for Mr. Jones, me, instead. I guarantee that will be the theme of his talk. He's actually dropped hints ahead of time that's probably what he's going to talk about. So it's not exactly a brilliant prediction or take any great wisdom to know that that's where it's headed. He's there to serve himself. He doesn't give a shit about your concerns.
He is the worst president by far in the history of the United States. In fact, I would say that Jimmy Carter is very happy tonight because he goes down as being a brilliant president by comparison.
Mr. Johnson is just horrible.
Everyone here tonight believes that we must fight for the same fundamental freedoms, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of the right to own a firearm, and freedom over taxation.
Freedom over taxation. You think he's against taxation? He was there for 4 years. Was he against taxation? Well, we're going to lower here and raise it there and have, what's it called, revenue neutral, to make sure the ruling class is still getting the same amount of stolen dollars, but we're going to adjust it so that group benefits and that group suffers, like every politician always thinking does. But it's all about him versus his opponent. Not like the slightest hint of it's about freedom and gun ownership. See this guy? This guy single-handedly, by himself, without any help from Congress, without any act of legislation, by himself, implemented the most draconian federal gun law of my lifetime or your lifetime, compared to anybody else, hands down, by himself, in unilateral dictatorial form. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about the bump stock ban. Now, you might say, oh, that's just a bump stock. You don't need that. First of all, way to have principles. Second of all, notice that every other stinking federal gun law, the 94 Clinton assault weapons ban and all that crap, and all the crap that came after, every time they had to grandfather into the law a thing that says if you already bought it and purchased it and owned it legally, this doesn't apply to yours. The one-time federal gun law in your lifetime has violated that is this piece of shit overnight making hundreds of thousands of Americans into felons for things they bought legally and owned legally. And he did it by telling the lawyers to go and change the definition of machine gun to include a bump stock. He just went, oh, go change the wording of that law. Not by legislation, not with Congress, not with any of that, just unilateral, dictatorial, make several 100,000 Americans into felons overnight if they don't hand them over. So when he's there, the right to own a firearm, and anybody cheered, now some people are yelling against it, I don't know why exactly, because how the hell are you supposed to tell, but a bunch of people were dumb enough to cheer for it. The guy who single-handedly did the worst federal gun control of our lifetimes just got cheered by a bunch of libertarians for pretending to give a shit about your right to keep and bear arms. Sorry, I forgot. I believe in take guns first, go through due process second. You heard him say that, right? He said that in front of cameras. He knew he was in front of cameras. The red flag laws that you probably bitch about if the Democrats do it. The red flag laws that say, well, if we kind of think you might sort of kind of be a risk to something, we don't need a conviction or a warrant or an accusation. We can just steal your guns and later we'll argue about whether that was okay. That is what this piece of shit advocated. 100% unconstitutional, 100% dictatorial, 100% anti-gun rights. And he's still saying this shit, and some of those people cheered for him. Good Lord.
Oh, that was interesting. Then you're going to like me, firearm, you're going to like me. Nobody better than me, and we just got the full NRA, the strongest endorsement they've ever given the NRA, so that's good. Freedom from over-regulation.
Not regulation. All of which, all federal gun control is illegal. Second Amendment says so. They're not allowed to do any of that. We just don't want over-regulation. There's a libertarian principle for you. We'll regulate the shit out of it, but not more than whatever it is that we decide is too much, says every politician always.
From government discrimination, and we believe that we do not have a free country if we do not have free speech, and very strongly believe that. We stand up.
Never mind. You know he was cheering for Fauci. He gave Fauci the platform. He pushed the warp speed bullshit. And he was there at the beginning of the federal government silencing anyone speaking out about it. This piece of shit doesn't believe in freedom of speech.
Opposed to government tyranny in all of its many forms.
Well, other than warmongering and illegal gun control and fascism and killing people who speak out against the state. Other than a few little things like that and throwing due process out the window. So, Fifth Amendment out the window, Second Amendment out the window, First Amendment out the window, Ninth and Tenth Amendments absolutely out the window. He doesn't give a shit about that. But he cares about...
Opposed to a government that spies on political campaigns. I wonder who that might be. Like they did on me, spies on the American...
Aw, you poor victim.
Censors us and crushes the rights of its own citizens, which
censors us. Oh, you poor fellow victim. And there are individual political parasites who have tantrums at him and they play stupid games back and forth. But to pretend that there's any principle behind these complaints when he was at the helm doing the same fucking thing, that's...
The Biden administration does. We want government out of our business, out of our wallets, and out of our lives. This will...
Okay, that was the closest thing to the expression of a libertarian principle. We want government out of our wallets and lives and whatever the first one was. It's a total fucking lie. No, he doesn't. He oversaw the authoritarian robbery and domination of several 100 million people and ongoing and escalating warmongering. But he knows that if he says those words, some people will go, yay. All right, so let's jump to our three spectators, shall we? So the Trump supporter watching is going to be like, well, he's saying great things. He's for freedom, and a bunch of these people are booing him. So heck with libertarians. Think you're winning any of them over? The guy who's curious about libertarianism, who's like sort of leaning in that direction and wanted to know more, he's listening and confused as shit. Because he's like, well, this guy is talking about gun rights and we want freedom, and half the audience is booing him. What the hell do they believe then? And then the random spectator, who isn't really into it at all, is watching just thinking, what the hell is any of this? What? He said some things about freedom and got booed. Oh, well, like the neutral person probably switched it off by now because it's just bland, weird. He's bitching about Biden again and nothing like an actual philosophical concept. So I'm going to stop this video here. And I'm going to pick it up in the next one, because otherwise this is going to be 1 billion hours long. But it's so stinking predictable. And I want all those libertarians who were all mad at me last time. This is our chance to spread the message and get more relevant and more eyes on us. What the fuck good do you think it is having eyes on this? Who the hell do you think is learning anything of value from this? Well, if they watch other speakers... You didn't need to invite him for the other speakers, and they're not watching the other speakers. They're tuning in to see this. And nobody's going to question him. Nobody's going to call him on his shit. Some people will yell at him and boo, and most of the spectators are going to have no idea why. Nobody is learning a fucking thing about libertarianism from this, except that libertarians don't know what the fuck they believe, because half the audience is cheering and half the audience is booing, and all of the spectators are thinking, what is this crowd even about? Good job getting the message out. I'll pick this up in the next video. I'll make myself drag through this whole stupid 20 minutes of stupidity.